Very good. Thank you, Sister Rosario.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
The thing's kind of
Yeah, the thing is.
Okay, my name is Ozzie. I've been a member of your group for a while, a couple of years now. Basically, my God before was not the Lord. My God was power, money, alcohol, greed, sex. Those were my gods. I didn't believe in God because when I was a little boy, I used to pray and pray and pray, and never once did he ever answer me. I was an abused child. At 5 years old, my mom was in prison. She killed 2 police officers.
Oh my God.
And my father was a womanizer, didn't care about us. He gave us away to different family members. I moved to one family member where my aunt would threaten me with the devil all the time if I misbehaved. Everything was the devil. The devil's going to get you if you don't eat your dinner, if you don't go to bed. Everything was Satan, the devil. Look, he's out the window. So I was getting all this evil spiritual negativity. Then she goes and stabs my uncle right in front of me because he came home late. She accused him of being with a woman. She stabbed him with a pair of scissors. So my aunt was arrested. My uncle went to the hospital. Fortunately, he lived, and I was taken into custody by the protective services.
Orphans.
And I was put into another family member's home. There, I was sent to Texas, and in Texas, my uncle, who was a Polish man, my aunt was a Hispanic. He was an alcoholic also. He was a very big man. He was a giant, and he was like 6'6", about 300 pounds. He'd come home drunk with me also, and he beat up my aunt right in front of us. One day, me and my cousin went to get a candy bar, and we weren't supposed to leave the house, but they said, well, go ahead. We snuck off. When we got home, he was there. Got upset, took it out on his wife and beat her up, picked her up, literally picked her off the ground. And I'm watching all this. He threw her against the wall. She's unconscious. Her glasses are broken on the floor. He picks her up again. He continues to beat her up.
Oh my Lord Jesus.
Then he comes up to me, and he goes, I want you to get out of my house. You're walking back to California. If I ever see you again, I will kill you. So I ran out of the house. Fortunately, some neighbors knew my family members, because most of my family's from Texas. They were able to call, and they were able to pick me up. Came back to California. I moved to another uncle's house. At night, my uncle would come in, a male, and sexually abuse me. Okay, so I'm going through a living hell, you know. Then I get pulled out of that house, and I move to my grandparents' house. My grandfather, also an alcoholic. Everybody in my family's alcoholic. My grandfather starts blaming me for my mother being in prison. He goes, you drove her crazy. You drove her to do what she did. You're worthless. I mean, every day he harassed me, threatened to kill me, name me every kind of name you can think of. So my self-esteem, I had no self-esteem at all. Finally got to the point when one day he was going to kill me. He literally says, I'm going to kill you. I ran away. This was in East LA. I ran away, and he lived close to the cemetery. I forgot the name of the cemetery. But I walked from Olympic to Atlantic, and then I went north to a church called St. Alphonsus. I went in there again and out, and I prayed every day. I was fascinated, and I had a love for Christ. We had a crucifix in the house, and I used to just look at him as a kid, and I wanted to be an altar boy. But my dad was never around. We didn't have a car. And once in a while we'd go to church, but I wanted to be an altar boy. I wanted to be actually a priest. And I was always looking at the cross, and I was fascinated by the cross. I went to the church, St. Alphonsus. I there and prayed. I prayed and prayed. I prayed, get me out of the situation. Help me. Anyway, I live in Montebello, so I walked home. I get sent to another house. The same thing. Oh, I get sent to Compton. And there, my cousins they live in the black neighborhood. It was all black. And my cousins actually spoke because they were raised there. They were so poor, that's all they could afford. So if you were to close your eyes, you'd think they were my cousins who are Hispanic, were black. because they lived and grew up with these kids. Anyway, so when I'd be out there, I saw people getting shot and killed. So my whole childhood, I saw nothing but violence. Finally, my dad one day brought me home, and my mom eventually got out of prison, and I started to run the streets like I was like an animal, and I wanted everybody to suffer like I suffered. I said, why did I suffer? I was a good boy. I did everything I was supposed to do. I did all my chores. I always helped out. I didn't even eat that much. You know, I try not to be an imposition on anybody. So, but from all that evil and hate and anger, walking through East LA, even as a kid, I got beat up.